Alright, hey Arrow, hey Dario, and Axoid. This is my suggestion of how to help me defeat them. Because basically I'll be the core of this. The issue with the Arazu and the Blackbirds and the Draugr, they're great. They're just awesome, I love them. The problem with that is that you guys can't really keep up to me in the Griffins. It's an awesome thing. What do we do? Like, I'll be jamming out all the Drekavacs, right? And then easily anything that approaches, right? But how do I deal with a situation where, okay, a jam of dreks, the gallente logi is keeping everything alive, the Upwell is slowly getting destroyed, and its repair has been paused a few times, mostly paused. It's taking forever. It's got a half an hour for the whole timer. What do you guys do, right? I mean, do you go in and try to jam the gallente logi? No, that doesn't make any sense, because the gallente logi would have ECCM on board, assuming, and it would be difficult to jam them using Griffins at the best of times. Plus, they'll be flying independent of the Drekavacs, and you could accidentally get too close to the dreks, right? When you're orbiting the executors, right? I'd suggest you orbit the drek, the lead drek that I'll be doing. Praetorian apparently is the FC, the anchor. Anyways, find out who the anchor is and orbit that at 100. The problem is that, what do you guys do? I mean, okay, we jammed out the dreks, and you guys are trying to jam the gallente logi. It's not working. It's fun, and it would be possible to go in with combat ships perhaps and try to kill their logi, I'm assuming, because their dreks will be completely crippled half the time, and if they're multi-boxing, then it's going to be really crippled, and they just leave. But how do we kill something, right? I mean, I'm sure you want to take advantage of this to kill something with DPS. And of course you use the Upwell to jam and I could use I've got a multi-freak each, so I could use it to put jams on the, like, it wouldn't be that successful like the Upwell, but if the Upwell's jamming a target, we could tag up, say if there was an Eros on field, we could tag that up and get the Upwell to jam that one out with its 1 ECM, and then I wouldn't have to worry about that. I just put my multi-spec on whatever gallente logi is left, right? So that would deal with that, and we could have a fine time combating them. But I'm thinking that perhaps it would be better if I went in with my electronic attack ships, right? Because they only go at 1,000 meters per second, and you guys can pretty much keep up. And if you just straggle behind, you can always warp off to a ping and then warp back to the anchor will be Seneschal. You can warp back to Seneschal, and she will be, is it Seneschal? No, you will, sorry, my bad. It's, Seneschal is the Blackbird anchor. Major Domo will be the anchor for the electronic, and she'll be in a stork, by the way, if you're curious. I was thinking of keeping the Draugr, but it's like, screw it. Let's try something cheaper. It's like 400 million-esque, right?
Docking permission requested.
So if I'm going with electronic ships, and we're only going 1,000, let's just This one is a bit harder to set up, but once set up, it's pretty much fire and forget. It's not a lot of niggly. Oh, oops. Kitsune. There it is. So this one, I'll be going after the gallente logi. So I'll be jamming out the gallente logi, and it'll be up to you guys in the Griffins to jam out the dreks, right? And so by doing all that and causing issues, we might be able to get in some good hits using the upwell, right? You know, assuming we just go in with cheap Griffins and harass the hell out of them, right? So it could definitely do some interesting stuff. So Curies is my support, and what I was thinking, because you guys would be Griffins, you guys could anchor up on Major Domo as much as possible, as much as you can. You know, I'll be going 1,000, so if you're going slower, you'll slowly fall behind, but at least you'll be close enough to be supported, right? So that's my thinking. Like, if you guys want to go into Griffins, I'll whip out the attack ships, frigates. But if you want to try to get some DPS in, I'll go in with Blackbird team and jam out all the Drekavacs, and then we can just go to town trying to kill the logi, right? Because they're expensive, right? So they go down, then they're done for, right? So I undock. I'll be undocking with this team, warping to the undock point and moving undock point, and then warp to a neutral stabber going 100 kilometers around the FC, right? So then I just warp to the undock and then warp to 100, you know, warp to the stabber at 0. So here we go. And as I land, I have to, damn it. Yeah, it's, I gotta remember when I'm switching up to, oops. Yeah, let's try that again. I want to show you guys how quickly I can do this, or at least how quickly I can get into an orbit, right?
Drive active.
Board back. I detest the whiteout that you get. Come on, CCP, it's been almost 2 decades and you can't figure your shit out. You know, it's like, is that aesthetic? No, it's not. Like, take a hike, idiots. Oh, they just have no idea, do they? Alright. So, let's do this again. So, warp to undock, and as soon as I land, warp to 0. You know, watch list for the stabber pilot. Yeah, the niggly thing about this is that I don't have the anchor orbiting yet, so I've got to do a little bit of niggly stuff here. So there's the FC, and I orbit, and then I turn that on, and oh crap, I forgot to do regroup. So that closes everybody. Kind of screwed that up, didn't I? Oops. Remember to hit regroup. And a nice thing about this, now once they're in regroup, they'll never actually screw up if they get too close, which is nice. So yeah, that was an F up on my part. To go 1,000 and still got some time, so I'm gonna try it again. Damn it! I know, it's just, you gotta. You know, because if you screw it up, then you're wasting time. You're not jamming right away, and yeah, it just gets annoying. So. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, just practice makes perfect. There's, yeah, it's a whole bunch of, there's little niggly things that are different between the blackbird technique and the electronic frigate technique. A little bit tricky setting up the first time on the, sorry, at first time. A little bit niggly setting the electronic attack frigates up. Just a few more button clicks right away. Okay, so landing, and there, orbit, and three, regroup, and then, oh crap, I've already got my frickin' too far away. Well, it's only 8. How fast do you go? Right, I've got it. Right. Of course. Silly me. I'd forgotten that bit too. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of niggly things. Really annoying. I've got to adjust my speed to, I believe, 420. So when I'm landing, I click orbit, do that speed, regroup, and let everybody hit then I'll get everybody to hit their after prop mod as they're regrouping, and then I finally hit after on that. God damn. Yeah, it's way more niggly. Things can go pear-shaped. Alright, here we go. So land. Start orbiting. I'll get 420 set. So like that. And then 427 close enough. Regroup. F3. Alright. Look. And then I can, I target. I'm pretending that these are gallente logi, right? F6 and F7 on these, so F6 and F7, and just kind of randomly leapfrog my ring, make sure everybody's got a jam on one of them, not doubling up the jams, just spread the jams. And, yeah, why are you flying it further? Oh, drugs worn off. Oh, I didn't even take drugs. Great. Yeah, that's a problem. Because I wouldn't take drugs for Major Domo. Just because he's so damn fast, right? Doesn't need the drugs. Yeah, a little bit of, oh crap. Yeah, not too far behind, right? Yeah, that's basically how I get in position, and everybody else is going to be, like you guys are going to be trying to, anchor up on the stork. Just get as close as possible to the stork. If you get the, it's 32 kilometer range ECM increase and range optimal, so that's helpful. But yeah, I'll just be orbiting anything that comes close. I'll be sensor dampening. Can't kill it, of course. I mean, I can kill a Punisher if it gets really close. I can kill off the slashers that get close. They just annihilate the slashers, like totally, just seconds they're dead. But yeah, make sure I've got my drugs taken. Yeah, it's really handy. Why are you taking your sweet time getting close to me? Yeah, just you kind of a little bit of screw up, and yeah, everything kind of falls apart, kind of. But not too much of a big deal. Anyways, and as you can see, everybody's trying to orbit really tightly, and it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter if they're still trying to regroup like that, because it's not going to be a dangerous situation where they're too far away. And if they are a little bit too far away, I'm not expecting cap transfer, right? So I can maintain this easily, cap stable, and you guys in the Griffins can hopefully keep close enough to me that I can support you with the key race, because the key race is going to be great. It'll force like say the Drekabacks to be unable to get a target lock on you to kill you, right? So yeah, I'll just be basically jamming the logi and then keeping an eye out on any nearby Griffins that I can support, and basically if you get too far behind, or if it looks like you're being targeted by a Drekaback that's split off in the pack, just warp off to a ping and warp back to the anchor and try to anchor up again. Yeah, basically what's going to go on. And at 1000, yeah, I don't think if they've got micro warp drives on, they can't, the Drekabacks will be able to catch up to us, But what I do is I'd simply, I get my, I get set up like this. I get my neutral to warp to a farther orbit path around the upwell, like say 1,000 kilometers, and orbit from there at full speed. Then I've always got a place I can warp to, for a moving ping, right? Yeah, just I mean, if they're approaching us, we're not going to be very far off this, so I'm sure they'll always be in range to shoot at the upwell. But we can certainly annoy them, and if you guys from the Griffins are jamming the hell out of the Drekabacks and we're in a clump, we could do some real annoying things to them, right? But if they get too close, we'd have to warp off. There's no way of us defeating Drekabacks, right? Or even withstanding their firepower. So yeah, it's basically just an annoyance. It's not like the Blackbird team where I can actually set up a situation where you guys can go in with combat ships, right? It may be fun, but yeah, this'll, and of course I've got multi-spec for dealing with jamming, say incoming anything trying to tackle one of our support guys. So it'll be busy. And more vulnerable because I'm not going 2000. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I figured you guys want to go in with combat ships to at least try to kill something, right? But yeah, I figure the best way to do it is to practice, like, you know, and the only practice we should really do is on the combat field, because at this point, I've got the procedure down. It's just, you know, it's, now we'll have to see what happens when the plan makes contact with the enemy. That'll be interesting.